adorable. Great. Time for another one of these.
Find into the new Primal Burrito or Biscuit with Prime Rib at Carl's Jr. See Jurassic World Dominion in theaters June 10th.
In the vast, sweeping landscapes of Argentina's Upper Cretaceous Patagonian Plateau, a colossal discovery has captured the attention of the paleontological world. The unearthing of Dreadnoughtus Species is groundbreaking as it potentially represents the largest terrestrial creature to have ever walked the Earth. Remarkably, this titanosaur was still a juvenile, underscoring the immense size it could achieve in maturity. Traditionally, titanosaurs, like many theropods, are known from few remains, perhaps some ribs, a sequence of vertebrae, or an occasional femur. Their sheer size often leads to incomplete preservation, with environmental factors and scavengers scattering the bones before the entire body can be entombed and preserved. However, Dreadnoughtus had about 70% of all the kinds of its postcranial bones recovered, including the ones paleontologists considered most important for estimating the body weight of four-legged animals, the humerus and the femur. This find stands as the most complete titanosaur ever unearthed, widely recognized as the heaviest dinosaur to have ever graced our planet. Notably, the holotype fossil is considered a juvenile, hinting that Dreadnoughtus had the potential for even more colossal proportions. While Dreadnoughtus captures the limelight, there are whispers of even larger titanosaurs, such as Patagotitan and Argentinosaurus. However, only fragmentary remains of these giants exist, leaving their true size shrouded in mystery. Nonetheless, Dreadnoughtus joins the ranks of massive titanosaurs that roamed South America until the twilight of the Cretaceous period. The year 2014 marked the naming of Dreadnoughtus, earning the distinction of the most complete South American titanosaur and rivaled only by global counterparts like Rapidosaur from Madagascar. Dr. Kenneth Lacovara, the pioneering American paleontologist behind the discovery, bestowed the name Dreadnoughtus, meaning fears nothing. His choice reflects a herbivore's dominance in its environment, impervious to threats, a notion echoing the turn of the last century battleships, the Dreadnoughts, which stood invincible against contemporary adversaries. Dreadnoughtus not only commands the attention in the scientific realm, but has also made its mark in popular culture. It stands as a solitary titanosaur to make an appearance in the Jurassic Park movie franchise, representing the first and only Cretaceous theropod in cinematic history. In the virtual realm of Jurassic World Evolution, Dreadnoughtus takes center stage in the Cretaceous dinosaur pack, awaiting discovery in the campaign mode on Isla Tacaño's Cerro Fortalezas dig site. If you'd like to keep learning more about Dreadnoughtus, then this video will feature a complete paleontological profile of the fierce nothing lizard, and then attempt to recreate its environment in the game Jurassic World Evolution 2. Dreadnoughtus, a theropod marvel, is revealing its secrets thanks to nearly complete fossils. Imagine that, 85 feet of sheer colossal power, with a neck almost as long as a two-story building is tall. Now, estimating the weight of this giant isn't easy. Some reckon it could be as heavy as 59 tons, a true heavyweight contender. And here's the kicker, the fossils we've got are from a juvenile. The adults, well, they could have been even larger, making Dreadnoughtus a true titan among titans. Now, what sets Dreadnoughtus apart? Well, it's got these unique features, the longest shoulder blade, upper hip bone, and proportionally longer forearms among its titanosaur kin. And like other titanosaurs, it's probably walking on horseshoe-shaped stumps instead of digits. Their spine, flexible and agile, could give them an edge in mobility. A unique adaptation among theropods, making Dreadnoughtus a true marvel in the dinosaur world. Now, there's a mystery in these fossils, pneumatic air sacs. Whether they're part of the respiratory system or not, well, that's a puzzle we've yet to solve, but it adds to the wonder of these ancient giants. Soft tissues and collagens from Dreadnoughtus hints at a rapid burial. Perhaps it got caught in a prehistoric quicksand, preserving it better than its titanosaur kin. Now, what's on the menu for a dinosaur of this magnitude? It's not exactly sure, but these plant-munching titans probably graze on cycads, conifers, and ferns. And what about their heads? Well, that's where things are about to get interesting. There is no record of any Dreadnoughtus skull ever being discovered. However, in some related species such as Sarmientosaurus, the head resembled that of brachiosaurids. In others, such as Rapidosaurus and Nemegtosaurus, the head resembled that of diplodocids. In some titanosaurs, the skull was especially diplodocid-like due to its square-shaped jaws. The titanosaur Antarctosaurus is especially similar to the Rachisaurid Nigersaurus. But without a Dreadnoughtus skull, we can only look at these other titanosaurs to give us an idea of how Dreadnoughtus' head may have looked like. In Patagonia, nests of about 25 eggs from an armor-plated relative Saltosaurus were discovered. While they're not Dreadnoughtus, it does give us a peek into the start of the colossal lives of Titanosaurs. Now when it comes to protection, Dreadnoughtus most likely rocked the mosaic of small bead-like scales surrounded by larger ones that have been found in other Titanosaur fossils. Predators? Very unlikely. Even the biggest carnivore of the time wouldn't dare take on an adult Dreadnoughtus. But they also had that massive tail that could have been used as a potential whip to fend off any unwanted attention. Now after this titan's time, a few carnivores may have fancied a meal. Teeth from scavengers around the site suggest a feast on Dreadnoughtus after dying of unknown causes. And like many of the dinosaurs, Dreadnoughtus faced extinction about 65 million years ago during the Big KT extinction, a global event that marked the end of the mighty Dreadnoughtus and 70% of Earth's species. We journey deep into the heart of Patagonia, Argentina, where American paleontologist Kenneth Lacovara unearthed a titan of the late Cretaceous, the one and only Dreadnoughtus shrani. Dr. Lacovara stumbled upon the first signs of this colossal creature back in 2005, a small patch of bones caught Dr. Lacovara's keen's eye and recorded the location with his GPS. His team returned a few hours later and began excavating. By the end of the day, they had exposed about 10 bones of what would come to be known as Dreadnoughtus shrani. Now why the name Dreadnoughtus? Well, it means fears nothing. Dr. Lacovara, with the spirit of a true explorer, named it to honor the herbivores. I think it's time the herbivores get their due for being the toughest creature in an environment. It is also a reference to the Dreadnoughts, huge battleships that fought in wars of the earliest 20th century. And the species name shrani pays tribute to the supporter of this expedition, American entrepreneur Adam Schron. The rest of the team that helped Dr. Lacovara unearth this enormous titanosaur, consisting of Lucio M. Ibiricu, PhD of the Centro Nacional Patagónico in Chubut, Argentina, Carnegie Museum of Natural History's Matthew Lamana, PhD, and Jason Poole of the Academy of Natural Sciences of Drexel University, as well as many current and former Drexel students and other collaborators. In this remote Patagonian terrain, it took 4 summers of dedication, mules, ropes, and a true blue team to fully excavate the colossal remains. They created 234 plaster jackets weighing 16 tons to carefully transport their precious cargo across the seas. The jackets were loaded into a cargo container and shipped by sea to Philadelphia on the Hamburg-Süd freighter Cap San Lorenzo. The voyage took approximately 6 weeks, captivating the imaginations of people along the way until it finally arrived in Philadelphia on May 9, 2009. Back in the labs of the Academy of Natural Sciences of Drexel University and the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, the fossils were meticulously prepared for analysis. Over 100 elements, including a humerus towering over 6 feet and a neck vertebrate with a yard-wide diameter, were revealed. The mystery of Dreadnoughtus' final resting place, a flood event, perhaps a river-changing course. Large theropod teeth found nearby suggest potential scavenging party rather than a hunt. The majority of Dreadnoughtus' shrani bones are very well preserved. There is minimal deformation, especially in the limb bones. Fine features such as location of muscle attachment are frequently clearly visible. Dreadnoughtus also has an unusually long neck for its body size, making up almost half of the animal's length. Also, the broad sternal bones also demonstrate a wide pectoral girdle, giving it a broad-shouldered, broad-chested appearance. Dr. Lacovara compared the animal's gait to the Empire's imperial walker. A smaller Dreadnoughtus named MPM PV 3546 was found in the same location, providing more insights into the size and anatomy of these giant titanosaurian sauropods. Now, the weight debate. Was Dreadnoughtus a 60-ton heavyweight or a more modest 30-ton contender? The paleo community went head-to-head, examining laser scans, 3D models, and volumetric techniques. The ones who first described Dreadnoughtus shrani figured out its weight using equation 1 from Campione and Evans. This equation lets you estimate the body mass of a 4-legged animal just by checking out the circumference of its humerus and femur. Applying the scaly equation, they reckon that the Dreadnoughtus in question tipped the scales at around 60 tons. In the grand scheme of things, this implies that Dreadnoughtus shrani packed a punch, weighing it at over 8.5 times the weight of a male African elephant and even surpassing the Boeing 737-900 airliner by a good few tons. But this enormous estimation had its fair share of skepticism. The researchers countered the doubts by conducting laser scans on all the bones and generously sharing 3D models for everyone to access. This open approach enabled fellow paleontologists to scrutinize the fossils remotely and even whip up three-dimensional replicas of the bones. Armed with these nifty 3D models, theropod enthusiast Matt Weddle rolled up his sleeves. Using volumetric models and relying on the published data, he crunched the numbers and came up with estimates ranging from 36 to 40 tons. But there's more. Tweaking the model for a 20% shorter torso brought the estimate down to around 30 tons. In the ongoing saga of Dreadnoughtus Shawnee's weight, Dr. Gregory S. Paul jumped into the fray, offering a response to Dr. Lacovara and the research team. He pointed out considerable error margins inherent in equations relying on limb bones. According to Paul, using the same equation, the Dreadnoughtus type specimen could have weighted anywhere from a hefty 44 to a whopping 74 tons. Taking a different approach, Paul employed volumetric techniques based on a more accurate skeletal restoration, yielding an estimate as low as 26 tons. However, the plot thickens as paleontologist Dr. Roger Benson suggested a maximum body mass of 59 tons. Yet, these estimates face scrutiny due to their extensive error range and lack of precision. And so, the controversy rages on, keeping the weight of Dreadnoughtuses in the realm of ongoing debate and scientific intrigue. Adding to the uniqueness of Dreadnoughtus, its forelimbs set a new record as the longest among all previously known titanosaurs. What's intriguing though is that these lengthy forelimbs don't dramatically outstretch the hind limbs. This unique feature led Dr. Lacovara and his team to make an interesting call in 2014. They reconstructed Dreadnoughtus' neck position as more horizontal. This stands in contrast to the anterior inclination seen in the necks of titanosaurs like Brachiosaurus. So, picture Dreadnoughtus cruising with a more level-headed posture, showcasing a remarkable twist in the tale of theropod anatomy. Dr. Lacovara made another fascinating discovery about Dreadnoughtus. It was a speedster in the growth department, a real go-getter in its juvenile years. Similar to living vertebrates, the growth plates and the long bones of juveniles remain unfused. In this dinosaur world, this is mirrored in fossils believed to be juveniles, showcasing unfused bones in the shoulder. Under the microscopic lens, the bone cells, known as osteons, revealed their tail. Young dinosaurs exhibited fairly young osteons, while older ones showcased more oblong shape with lines of arrested growth. In Dreadnoughtus, the scene was one of bustling activity, lots of round osteons without any growth interruptions. Moreover, the shoulder bones remain unfused, signaling that Dreadnoughtus Shawnee was still in the growth spurt at the time of its demise. In accordance with Argentinian law, the Dreadnoughtus fossils fall under the ownership of the federal government of Argentina. Permanently residing in the province of their discovery, Santa Cruz, is a mandate. In March 2015, the Dreadnoughtus Shawnee fossils were dutifully returned to their enduring repository at the Museum Padre Molina in Rio Gallegos, Argentina. This repository serves as a hub for ongoing endeavors aimed at unraveling the mysteries of Dreadnoughtus' body structure, growth rate, and biomechanics. The saga of scientific exploration continues in the heart of its homeland. Now when it comes to the environment of the mighty Dreadnoughtus, we're a bit in the dark. The two dino relics, the Thai species fossils, popped up in Upper Cretaceous rocks down in the Cerro Fortaleza formation in Argentina. Herds of Dreadnoughtus roamed around 65 to 100 million years ago during the wild days of the Cretaceous period. The planet was basking in warmth, ice was a no-show, and ocean levels were about 200 feet higher than they do now. Down in Australia, Antarctica, and South America, we're all still connected, you see. Now picture the landscape where our giant friend Dreadnoughtus lived. It was like a mixed bag of thick forests, sprawling floodplains, and a network of rivers. A real humid swampy land drenched in buckets of rainfall. These rivers, well, they had a bit of a habit. Frequent flooding, you see, was their thing, thanks to that constant rain. Now here's where things get more interesting. The Dreadnoughtus remains might have had their bones laid to rest in a bit of a sneak attack by quicksand during one of these floods. That's a ticket to why these fossils are sitting pretty imperfectly preserved. The paleobotany of the region included a lush palette of gymnosperms, ferns, and angiosperm plants in the Dreadnoughtus' domain. This was a botanical bonanza where ferns and angiosperms take center stage, outshining their gymnosperm counterparts. However, there's a special spot on the map, a site boasting a hefty stash of petrified wood. Here, the green scene features a mix dominated by monkey puzzle trees, dainty flowering plants, resilient ferns, and good old conifer trees. It's a real horticultural hotspot, showcasing the diverse cast of characters that shared the stage with our colossal friend Dreadnoughtus. When it came time to eat, Dreadnoughtus had a bit of a refined palate. Armed with peg-like teeth, this colossal titan of the dinosaur world would zero in on the towering delights of conifer trees and the lush fronds of ferns, chomping them down like a whole prehistoric salad. These giant grazers weren't just munching away for their own sake. Their feeding frenzy had a mighty impact on the local green scene. Dreadnoughtus, the living pruner, shaping not just the structure of the plant community, but also playing favorites. Certain plant species got the VIP treatment thanks to their gourmet preferences. It's like they were the guardians of diversity and forest well-being, keeping the ancient ecosystem in tip-top shape. Dreadnoughtus and its kin weren't just big eaters, they were also dishing out some hefty consequences for the atmosphere. Munching through massive amounts of vegetation, these colossal beasts were essentially methane factories. When they processed all that plant in their guts, it's likely they belched out a considerable amount of methane. Now here's the kicker, we're talking about a whopping 520 million tons of methane per year. To put that into perspective, it's like having all the cows, humans, and industry of today combined in a methane-producing showdown. So in the ancient dance of nature, these theropods weren't just shaping landscapes, they were also filling the atmosphere with methane, heating things up with their colossal contribution to the greenhouse gas scene. The notion that theropods were the OG landscapers shouldn't raise an eyebrow. Look at the giants of today, elephants and giraffes. These big animals have the power to transform entire environments with just a stroll. Take elephants for instance. Their foraging antics involve a bit of tree toppling, creating open and spacious habitats. Walking in water or foraging for a meal, and they carve out paths, leaving a distinct trail on the landscape. Now crank it up a notch and picture a herd of Dreadnoughtuses on the move. The impact? Monumental. These colossal titans will be like walking bulldozers, reshaping the land with every step. Fossils of mollusks, snails, slugs, ray fin fishes, sharks, and turtles have all been discovered in the area as well. And reckon this, it's not a stretch to imagine crocs and their distant relatives, the crocodilomorphs, living in this environment. The Cerro Fortaleza formation where we met our colossal friend Dreadnoughtus is turning out to be a real treasure trove. Just around the block, paleontologists have unearthed the likes of Brontosaurus, a giant titanosaur, the Gamaraptoran duo of Orcoraptor and Ostrochirus, and the ornithopod Talincowan. In the same neck of the woods where Dreadnoughtus left his mark, fragments of a belosaurid material have been unearthed, a possible Carcharodontosaurus. However, the details of these findings are still under wraps, awaiting the grand reveal. There is a whisper in the paleo corridors that suggests the mighty Carcharodontosaurus might have been on the prowl for Dreadnoughtus. But here's the kicker. The big debate is whether these predators hunted solo or hunted in packs. If they were team players, well, then we might be looking at a scenario where Dreadnoughtus had some formidable foes on its hands. Dreadnoughtus, with its colossal size, probably didn't have much to worry about. Predators might have thought twice before picking a fight with this behemoth. But just in case trouble brewed on the horizon, Dreadnoughtus wasn't defenseless. If push came to shove, Dreadnoughtus could unleash the power of its tail for a mighty defense. Dr. Lacovara paints a vivid picture, likening it to turn-of-the-last century battleships called dreadnoughts, colossal, heavily armored, and practically invincible. Beneath their colossal feet, a bustling world of smaller creatures buzz with activity. Small mammals, nimble lizards, and crocodilians lurking in the shadows, a real prehistoric biodiversity. In the waters, it's a different story. Turtles bask in the sun, their ancient shells catching the rays. Meanwhile, prehistoric fish dart through the waters. It's a symphony of life where each creature plays its own unique role in the grand tapestry of this primeval landscape. The Cerro Fortaleza formation isn't just a stage for dinosaurs. It's a thriving ecosystem where every nook and cranny tells a tale of ancient life. From the mightiest titans to the tiniest critters, the dance of existence in this bygone era is a spectacle that captures the imagination and brings the past to life. Dr. Lacovara, the paleontologist who uncovered the mighty Dreadnoughtus, had a gut feeling from the get-go. He reckoned this colossal creature was destined for the big screen. This is the kind of creature that will soon make it into Hollywood, he said. You can guarantee that the next documentary on this dinosaur will feature this new creature. Fast forward, and guess what? Dreadnoughtus makes a cameo in Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but it's the big screen debut in Jurassic World Dominion that really steals the show. It's a trailblazer, the first titanosaur to grace the franchise, and if you're sizing up all the dinosaurs in the entire franchise, it's the biggest creature, with the possible exception of the Mosasaurus, whose size changes constantly throughout the movies. In Jurassic World, Dreadnoughtus makes a brief appearance on the holographic globe in the Innovation Center. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the embryo of a Dreadnoughtus was sold at the Lockwood Manor auction and is seen being loaded onto a plane with a briefcase along with other embryos. But the real spotlight moment is in Jurassic World Dominion. In the Cretaceous flashback, you've got Dreadnoughtus by a lake, rubbing shoulders with pteranodons and Quetzalcoatlus. Then back to the present day, Biosyn clones these behemoths in Italy, living it up in a sanctuary. Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Ramsey Cole even take a peek at a Dreadnoughtus enjoying a lakeside bath during a flyby. The clones sport a slick, darker look with orange stripes. When giant locusts cause chaos, 4 Dreadnoughtus are seen escaping a forest fire by being evacuated to the emergency zone in the Biosyn facility amongst other dinosaurs. As the dust settles and the reunited Dino crew gears up for a rendezvous, Kyla Watts almost has a close encounter with one of the escaping Dreadnoughtus. Dreadnoughtus also stretches stuff in the Apple TV documentary Prehistoric Planet. There you'll catch a glimpse of our big buddy flaunting inflatable air sacs on its neck. Now, no fossil evidence says Dreadnoughtus was rocking these, but all theropods did have internal air sacs, making these giants lighter than the feather. Almost. These colossal creatures have become educational and entertainment icons. From the classics like Jurassic Park to today's CGI extravaganzas, dinosaurs, with Dreadnoughtus leading the pack, are the stars of the blockbuster show. Hey guys, welcome to my park, and as you can see here, I've already sectioned off a large part of the park so we can add one of the biggest animals here in the game, the Dreadnoughtus. So, you know, for the most part, we've done a lot of floodplains if you've been watching a lot of my videos. And of course, we're going to do that because obviously that's where Dreadnoughtus live. We can't deny that, that's where they lived. But as you know, as you guys saw on the description earlier on the environment section, this place was frequently flooded. We have thick forests, floodplains, like I said. So one thing we are going to do with this enclosure is, let's go ahead and just start off with our river. So we can always going to have a river, obviously. And we'll start here. Oh. As you can see here, you can see my previous attempt that had to be scrapped because I did make a couple of mistakes. But as you can see here, only small part of this enclosure is going to have a river. So we're going to close it up like that. And this part, like I always do, just kind of make some rough edges here and there. That way the enclosure doesn't look too unnatural. Too natural, I mean, too artificial. So yeah, just kind of rough some edges around. Just kind of play with it. And yeah, for the most part, we have our river set done. I'll make this a little bit chunky. But for the part, I think we're good. Next part will be to go ahead and work on our terrain. So, like I said, it's frequent flooding, so everything's mostly just going to be stuck to grass. But however, with frequent flooding, and most importantly with these giant behemoths of dinosaurs, there's going to be a lot of dirt in this enclosure that's going to be kicked up around because, I don't know if you guys, you know, everyone's gone to a zoo. Hopefully you have. If you haven't, you should definitely go to one soon, especially have one in your area. I know there's some, you know, there's always the talk of, you know, they need to be let out in the wild, but you know, they help conservation for the most part. And a lot of the animals are animals that just wouldn't be able to be lived down in the wild just due to many health reasons or whatever the thing might be. So yeah, go ahead and visit your zoo if you can. It's pretty cool. And in recent news, Jurassic World 7's coming out, so looking forward to it. However, it's coming out July 2nd, 2025, which is honestly too soon. I was excited with the original writer coming back, David Koepp, but I heard the new director might be the director that did Bullet Train, Deadpool, and I'm missing the other one. Oh, John Wick. A very actiony style. I'm not really liking that. I missed the old scary thriller from the original movie, the original 2 movies. So I hope with David Kep in the wheel, hopefully we might be able to get that back, but hopefully it does stick and we have something, you know, like the originals. Now I'm just sticking to a little bit of rock, doing some rock here and there, just a little bit. I'll make a big section right here with rock. And then even scarier, well, at least for me, is I've heard Will Smith is being considered for the lead role, which I no, just no. You know, like the original, we had some unnamed people, and I think that really works. It makes it. Obviously, you had, you know, Samuel L. Jackson, but and a couple of little characters there, but for the most part, a lot of them were, you know, just starting out a career and just getting out. So hopefully, that rumor is not real. I don't want Will Smith in the Jurassic franchise, or if he's there, why not? But we'll see. I rather he's not. He's not. He's just not it. Bryan Cranston, though, I do feel like he'd make a good choice, and I've heard he's been rumored, or they asked him in an interview, and he's like, yeah, sure. So, maybe. Right here, we are going to go with this one. I hardly use it because there's palm trees, and there's not a lot of palm trees during this time in the Cretaceous. They are, but they're starting out. They're palm-like. They're not palms like these guys right here that you see here, so... we'll do that one, just so we can kind of cover up the river, like... You know, the river's continuing from there, but we're gonna fake it because I want the... I'm gonna add a tour in here for the Dreadnoughtus, so that way it can go through here. And yeah, everything else looks good. Ginkgos, all the ginkgos in its parts. We are gonna simulate, obviously, behemoths coming through here, so just very sparsely, mostly in these green areas. We'll add our ginkgos. I don't know why they're not trying to pop up. Here we go. Couple of them, not a lot. Especially because these guys are going to be eating these things. So add a couple of calamites around the edges here. A big amount here and here. And you can always follow it up with a lot of ferns. Frequent flooding, so, you know, everything is going to be really heavily vegetated. Aside from that, you can add some calamites if you want. A lot of angiosperms, a lot of gymnosperms. You got those already in there. Let's go ahead and add some of these tall ones. These are going to be our conifers. So we'll add a couple here, and like I mentioned, we're going to simulate all of these guys coming through here. And then definitely I do always have small ones, especially in a habitat reconstruction such as this one, because, you know, trees fall, trees die, and these are the ones that are springing up from the new flood. So we'll add a couple more. This part we're gonna leave it open. Just leave it open. Yeah, just go ahead and play with this. Add as many or as not as many as you want. But just make sure you get a different variety of conifers. That way it doesn't look too you know, too artificial. I guess it's a word that I always like to use. So okay, that looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna add a bit too many trees, but like I said, always up to your choice. And now to actually simulate, like, trees have been dying and all that stuff, let's go down to our decor and just add a bunch of these guys. These are the trees that make it through the flood, and they are dead. So add a bunch of these, and this will really simulate that trees aren't making it through the flooding, or that Dreadnoughtus just simply pushed the trees aside and they're just on the ground. So we'll do that. Yeah, Dreadnoughtus brought down all these trees, and I can, you know, with their size, I can definitely see that happening. And can't forget another vital part of this ecosystem, which are rocks. So we'll sprinkle them around. I'm going to sprinkle them around the rock sections that we made earlier. That gives us a good good base where to put them. These guys over here too. I always like to group them in 3, so. And now for the other part of the habitat, if you will, we can do taiga, temper. This is a temper. And so we'll just sprinkle some rocks here. Obviously, there's sort of the points in which Dreadnoughtus can't go. That's why they went the other way. Because there's rocks and they don't want to trip. So they went through the sides that are very, very dirty. Like this one came through there. Cool. So we got that. And I thought of something. I don't know if it's going to work. That's why I haven't mentioned it. But we can probably simulate fallen trees if we maybe add this. Like so. I don't know. You guys can probably try that. I mean, it kind of does actually. You know, you gotta use your imagination a bit, but we'll actually, you can do that if you want. I actually kind of like the way it looks, so I just wish it could be closer. We'll do that. We'll do that for the next couple. You know, tree fell. Another tree fell over here. Here, so yeah, you do that. What do you guys think about Jurassic World 7? Jurassic World 7? Or is Dominion? Yeah, Jurassic World 7, I guess? I don't even know. Yeah. I think it's too rushed. Hopefully, David kept in the screenwriting. It saves it. But we shall see. Don't get me wrong, I like the newer movies, but the first 2 are what made the movies really, really good. Is what made the franchise, I think, I feel. The first one, obviously, being the number 1. So yeah, finish it up here. Now, we can add a couple of these to simulate some angiosperms. Angiosperms are the only trees that can turn orange, I believe. I remember hearing this on Skeleton Crew, which is another channel you guys should subscribe to. They talk about a lot of designs here in Jurassic World Evolution, and they, you know, talk about how accurate they are. And they're actual paleontologists, so it's super awesome and very informative. So we can put these guys. These are gonna block our palm trees. We don't want palm trees in this area. And there you have it. That's our Dreadnoughtus enclosure. Let me know how you guys think, what you guys think, what you guys would change. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, I'll go ahead and add the Dreadnoughtus, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This graceful herbivore, with its enormous size, makes Dreadnoughtus a beautiful but deadly addition to your Jurassic Park. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.